I'll quickly take in Major Mohommed Ali Shah on the broadcast with me. And Mohommed Ali Shah, the instance that took place yesterday has brought about serious questions, and whether picking up Zubair or Nupur is actually relevant to the heinous crime that was committed yesterday in broad daylight.
What's the question, Megha?
The contention that continues to be put out, there are these social media warriors, these Twitter warriors, and there has been obviously this palpable divide that can be witnessed. And there has been an effort that has been made by central authorities, by state authorities, by law and order agencies to maintain calm. But what led to this entire incident? And should individuals, organizations, people then continue to highlight and magnify the linkages with regards to Nupur, with linkages with regards to Zubair? Do they actually have any relevance to the actual crime, to actual terror attack that took place yesterday on that innocent man?
Megha, firstly, whatever happened yesterday is highly condemnable, a barbaric act, and there are no ifs, no buts. It's no one, I do not know anyone who can even think of defending such an act. It's heinous. It's the worst gruesome crime one can ever imagine. It is the video that surfaced thereafter, people who saw it, people actually threw up after watching it. It was so bad, and I don't know who has brainwashed, who has radicalized those individuals. It is really, really gruesome, and this has to be nipped completely. Now, how do we nip that? By punishing these two individuals. They need the most severe punishment, no doubt. But the bigger picture, the larger picture is, how do we actually nip it completely so that such an act does not happen? Now, a person, it's up to Kanhaiya Lal, whether he supports Nupur Sharma or not, what he says, what he does not say. It's entirely up to us. In fact, the Article 15 of the Constitution of India gives us the freedom, in fact, not to actually discriminate between religions and between any caste, creed, religion, in fact.
Major Mohommed Ali Shah, I'll get you into the conversation, and that's how I commenced with the discussion, asking you about why are there causal linkages that are being put forth with regards to Zubair, with regards to Nupur Sharma, and the bigger question, why is there no global outrage? Why is the Ummah and the OIC not standing united at this point of time, coming out and raising protests across the globe, reaching out to the international organizations, to United Nations, and then saying, condemning it, and saying this is an act of terror? Why the hastiness with regards to what Qatar raised when Nupur Sharma made that comment, and why the complete silence with regards to this beheading? That is condemnable, that is shameful, and that is an act of work by the radical Islamists, by the ISIS. Why no condemnation by these 2.8 billion Muslim population globally?
Okay, Megha, is that question for me?
Yes.
Okay, Megha, I will tell you. Who made Asaduddin Owaisi as a representative of the Muslim community? The ex-Vice Chancellor of the Aligarh Muslim University, Lieutenant Zaminuddin Shah, has condemned it on Twitter. You go to his Twitter account, you can see it. The Saeed Sherwani, he's a popular Muslim industrialist, he's tweeted it. Most of the Muslim intelligentsia that I know has tweeted it, in fact all of them. Just because Asaduddin Owaisi has not tweeted, he's no one, we do not identify with him, I don't connect with him, I don't consider Owaisi, I don't follow Owaisi, I don't subscribe to his ideology at all. So yes, most of the, in fact not most, all, I don't know a single Muslim who would not be condemning it. And these two people who did the barbaric act yesterday were not Muslims, because they do not follow Islam. Just because they wore a skull cap and a beard does not make them Muslims. Muslims are different. Islam does not teach that. That is a wrong misconception that these people are getting into, because and fringe elements like these actually give rise to Islamophobia. Today, when people are scared of watching a man who got a beard and who wears a skull cap, they are responsible because of radicalized, mad idiots like these people who have done this heinous crime. And I urge my community men to come forward and to please condemn it in whatever little way they can on Facebook, Twitter, whatever they have, on YouTube, whatever they have, because if they do not condemn it right now, honestly, I know a lot of Muslims right now who are sending me messages that their Hindu friends are actually telling them why you're not condemning it. Though they have condemned it. They have, and no one supports these people. No religion will ever teach this kind of all religions.
Major Shah, I'm just going to interrupt you for a second. Major Shah, let's jump into the hard issues, right? The people who have gathered for this funeral, okay, are not people who are cousins and relatives. Now, the two issues which really matter and which we need to address to calm things down. For the Hindus of this country who are now taking this as worst suspicions confirmed, that these people are in our midst, they are not coming from Pakistan, they have been radicalized right here, and this is all the people who are giving us gyan about this will happen and that will happen, all of them were right. And for the Muslims in this country who know that that's the impression that is going about, who are now rightfully feeling troubled because they have no correlation to this whatsoever, how do we address them community by community? Let's start with the Muslims first. Major Shah.
Right, Rishabh. This is an act which nobody, there is no defense to it. No one can even talk in defense. And I started to believe, in fact, where they have been radicalized, who has radicalized them, from where have they been radicalized, a thorough inquiry has to be made into this, and by giving them exemplary punishment so that no one dares to come forward and ever. It's a wrong precedent, a very, very wrong example, and no one should get inspired by this in his crime. And where do we start from? The change starts from here. Because I believe the society will not change unless and until we change our own selves. Instead of, I urge both the communities to please maintain calm, to please not spread hate. That's for both the communities. Because every action has an equal and opposite reaction, unfortunately. So they are bound to be reaction. They are bound to be such kind of thing happen. So please, it's a time we all must maintain calm and logically. And you're right. The people who land up for the funeral were not his cousins or relatives. But let me tell you one more thing, Rishabh. A lot of Muslims also came for the funeral. A lot of people I know were there presently for the funeral. So yes, it is actually when two communities fight. Why cannot we?
So Major Shah, how do we do it? Okay, because the cops who are being roasted right now, okay, they tried to hold a quote unquote peace meeting. Okay, they tried to hold in writing that okay, I said, you didn't like what I didn't like, and we have resolved it. It was writing in done. So the cops tried to do a peace meeting, right? Some people decided that was not going to be enough, that they are still hell-bent on committing an act of terrorism. So what is the kind of solidarity that gets shown here? Because every time we are trying to address this question, we are adding in our second breath, but Nupur Sharma, but Modi's problem, but BJP, but RSS, but Zubair, why are we not talking about Zubair, this, that. I will address Zubair also. All of these we will address one by one. But all the correlations that are being drawn, okay, if you have to show solidarity, it has to be unconditional solidarity. You can't have precondition that yes, very bad, this is very bad, but this also happened, that also happened, this also happened. How do we end that?
No, that is wrong. I mean, I agree with you. I'm on the same page as you, with you. That, oh, this is bad, but that also happened. That is whataboutery. Then that doesn't make sense. That is not a logical conclusion. That is not you will not be able to resolve an issue like that. The idea is not to debate, and I appreciate your channel. You do not debate or argue or scream, or it's not Tilak versus Topi. It is about finding an amicable solution and discussing it. Only when we understand what the problem is, can we address it. Without understanding the problem, when we start shouting, I will not name, but you know who I'm talking about, the other channels who do that. But that is not the solution. And yes, as you rightly said sometime back, Rishabh, well, our videos may not go viral, may not get that kind of TRP, but you will get that kind of TRP.
But Major, this is the problem.